Alison's in Crawley. Alison, what would you like to say?
Oh, morning, James.
Hello, Alison.
I mean, the thing I feel about it is that the political party needs to, the Conservative Party needs to step up. Exactly what has not happened in America. I mean, we have a storming of the Capitol, and the Republican Party at that point failed to stand up and say, this is not Republican politics. We do not endorse this man. And and now look where they are.
Yeah.
They're dependent on him to endorse all their candidates. If the Tory party don't stand up and be counted on this, then I don't know what happens to them, because the initial problem is they they endorsed a candidate to be MP who, in our lifetimes, in the history, I think, of politics in this country, would not, well, it's probably a bit...
Oh, the standard, the 2019 intake in the Tory party is incredible.
Well, they would never have endorsed a man who you could YouTube and listen to the Darius Guppy tape. That would be the end of a political career. You would not have got a candidacy for any political party.
Are you sure? I mean, because that was a long time ago, and he became Mayor of London. He became... I mean, at what point in British history would that have been a career-ending revelation?
I think at any point, no political party would have taken that risk. The idea that you could find someone who was prepared to give the home address of a fellow journalist, so that one of his mates from school could get him beaten up.
But is that a mark? I think, isn't that just evidence of Johnson rather than anything bigger?
It is, but then how on earth did the Conservative Party ever say, yes, this man's fit to be an MP and represent the Conservative Party? He never was. And if you start to,
But he became editor of The Spectator after that. He became a Daily Telegraph columnist. There's all manner of institutions that promoted him and that continued to promote him after that happened. It's not just the Tory party.
But what we're talking about today is a complete disrespect for the standards in public life.
Yes.
And actually, that is a man, that's why we have these standards. And it really suits the Conservative Party to sort of put forward the idea that, everyone's all the same. They're all like this. They absolutely are not all like this. Boris Johnson is the first Prime Minister ever to have broken the law in office. Prime Ministers in my lifetime have never stood at the dispatch box and lied and stayed in office. That has never, ever happened. They have been... they've spun things, they've, put things in a way that...
Embellished, exaggerated.
All of that. But they have never actually lied. And you can forget about Partygate. Just look at the Stefanovic video. He lied many, many times at the dispatch box, and nobody has taken any action over it.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but the battle to have Harriet Harman removed from the Privileges Committee after Chris Bryant recused himself, the battle to have Harriet Harman removed from that committee has started today in some of the right-wing newspapers. So it is an astonishing assault upon all manner of standards. But who's going to call a stop to it? No one's really playing this game with me yet, Alison.
The only people who can call a stop to it at this point is the Conservative Party, and there are some members like Tugendhat and various. I can't.
But
remember
they have done. They've shot their bolt, arguably, haven't they?
The 1922 committee and the senior members of the Conservative Party and all the MPs need to stand up and say, this is too much. This is not about Conservative values. I'm of the left. I worked in politics for 10 years. I'm of the left. But this is not a right-left issue.
No, of course it's not.
This is a decency issue, and it is undermining all of our politics, and we should all care about it. And I believe the Conservative Party is better than this.
I do too, and I know that upsets some people when you say that. Because Nye Bevan wouldn't agree with that analysis, would he? That the Conservative Party is better than this. He considered them to be, I think, lower than vermin was the famous phrase that he used. Or that may be a popular.
Do you know what? I think even Nye Bevan probably didn't think they were liars and cheats. Actually,
because they weren't.
Exactly. This is very different, and the idea that the whole idea, Kier Starmer and Partygate, having a pint of beer. I mean, that's yet to be decided, and what have you, and all the rest of it. But that is all about an attempt to say, oh look, they're all the same.
2 weeks of front pages in the Daily Mail on that one. Two whole weeks of front pages.
It is incomparable. Boris Johnson was presiding over a blooming house at number 10
Nicely
during
put.
COVID, while people were missing their loved ones' funerals and not being with them at their deathbeds, and he was partying, having set those rules that prevented people. And they're trying to compare it to Kier Starmer having a beer and a pizza after a day of campaigning because they had pre-ordered the pizza or some such.
But I believe it was a curry, Alison. Facts matter. I believe it was a curry. Because then you have that hilarious joke, beer korma or Kier Starmer, you see. It sounds slightly similar.
Right.
I before you go, you can't have Tugendhat because he's already made his feelings clear. You need someone previously loyal to stand up and say enough is enough. Who would you put your money on?
But that's the real anxiety. I don't know who I'd put my money on. What is the matter with them all?
I don't know. I do not know. I can
all?
tell you that the Paymaster General, Michael Ellis, just said in the House of Commons, the Prime Minister maintains the highest standards in public life and will continue to do so. The party asked you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most terrible. Come on.